Hi, this is Jody King-Colgrove with Quantum Techniques. We're the most comprehensive diagnostic form of energy medicine in the world today. I work with people all over the world on the phone, helping them discover why they're not healing and what they can do about it. Today I came across an article that talked about food cravings and how food cravings can indicate that you're deficient in something. So I wanted to share the information with you. So processed foods are engineered down to the exact formula using math, science, analysis, and energy to find the perfect amount of sugar, salt, and fat to produce an innate taste buds. I thought it was very interesting because I remember I worked with somebody in college that he had an outside job that worked for a food company that would create, special sauces. He was telling me all about it, and I thought that was so interesting. So it kind of caught my eye when I saw that. So there's other things that they're interested in is when they're creating foods, they want to make sure that how it feels in the mouth, how much you have to bite through it to have the force of your bite. Also the sensory, specifically salty, and on the feel of it and things like that. Are the chips crispier and are they fresher simply because of the sound level of their crunch? Salt and sugar and fat are the three pillars of the processed food industry. To mask the bitterness or sourness that a formulation can cause, the food industry uses flavor enhancers and preservatives, and also increases the shelf life. So sometimes you look and say, well, why do they have to put all this stuff in there? Why can't they just have natural food? Well, that's why, because they are trying to increase the shelf life, enhance the flavors, and then preserve the food. All right, so exercise can be the kind of antidote. In other words, it helps release endorphins, which is the same kind of neurotransmitters that are released in chocolate. So I guess that's why I love exercising so much, is because I love chocolate so much. Other things are peppery, spicy foods, and protein are also endorphin releasers also. And they help you stay focused, make you more alert, and they can lift a depressed spirit. Sleep deprivation can lead to food cravings, so that's why it's important to get at least somewhere between 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And when you have those food cravings, typically what you're increasing is your sugary and your carbohydrate. That's what you're craving, okay? So depriving negative effects that sleep can deprive your negative. I'll read it right. Sleep deprivation negatively affects the production of hormones called leptin. And leptin hormone is responsible for telling the body when it's full. And a lot of times we test to find out whether your leptin levels are okay, so that you're not wanting too much food or not having enough of an appetite. We can do it both ways. Sugary and caffeinated foods give you, like energy drinks, are non-nutritious foods. And I remember in college, when I learned all about nutrition, I said, okay, I could have this, grape juice and it was, 150 calories, or I could have a Snickers bar that was also 150 calories. And that was kind of fascinating to me because I wasn't looking at them as equals because they just seem different. And we have a lot of those social norms on what is considered a good food or a bad food. And, and then there's the whole issue of, whether it's, the calories are the same or which one is more nutritious. And so there's a lot of things to consider, but I thought it was interesting that we do crave certain things for certain reasons. All right. So spending time filling up your tank or with volume that's incapable of helping your body heal and repair to overcome infections. So when we do fill up on those energy drinks and caffeinated and sugar, stuff like that, we're not getting any nutrients. So a lot of times we will get hungrier sooner because they're just empty calories. They also increase inflammation. And there's two ingredients that are found in energy drinks, which are sugar and caffeine. And both produce a temporary stimulation that can result in actual long-term energy loss and increased inflammation. Okay? And the processed sugar can overwhelm the pancreas and lead to diabetes. All right, so a glass of ice water and a snack on protein is usually your best. And so when my son comes home from school, I try to give him, a good dose of almonds or some kind of protein that will help sustain him and help his energy kind of come back in order to do his homework. Then they gave a list of different foods that could indicate what you may be deficient on. Because that's kind of where we started our discussion, is if you have food cravings, you may be deficient in some kind of nutrients. And you may have heard of some of these before. So acid and soury foods indicate that your body may be full of toxins. Alcohol and sugar cravings can indicate a brain imbalance in chemicals. Baked food cravings can be a yeast infection, or a wheat allergy, or the lack of love. Beef food cravings can mean that the body is low in phosphorus. Caffeine means a lot of times you have adrenal exhaustion, and so you're trying to drink the caffeine to get the adrenals kick-started, and that there you have some exhaustion by different foods or staying up too late, or it could be also that you're fighting quite a few pathogens that are affecting your adrenals. Carbohydrates could be that you're dealing with a yeast, or your emotions or brain hormone is in imbalance. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Cheese cravings, a lot of times it's a yeast infection or a sulfite allergy. All right. And interesting here, it just says orange cheese. And lately, the place where I'm at, it's really hard to find good white cheese. And we've been doing, I try to stay away from cheese, but sometimes the family does like to have a little bit of orange cheese. And it's been impacting my husband a little bit more than I'm used to, like, normal cheese impacting him. So I'll take account of that. All right. Chocolate is also the lack of love. And also it has a cocoa allergy, which is kind of interesting. Food cravings can also be determined on what time of day. In other words, if you get a craving at a certain time of day, that may indicate a decrease in serotonin. I know for me, when I was dealing with some food allergies myself, I found that halfway through a meal or 20 minutes into a meal, I got a specific craving. And so I cleared that up by the different foods I was eating, and it went away. That was quite of an interesting time of day kind of issue that I had to deal with. Fish and shrimp could be food cravings is an iodine deficiency. This is interesting. Ice cubes could be an iron or a B6 deficiency. And I always laugh because, pets, they love to eat ice and they think that's really fun. Well, somewhere, after they turn about, 9 months to a year, they're not interested in ice anymore. It'd be kind of interesting to test a puppy and find out if they do have some kind of deficiency in iron or B6. Ice cream food cravings deal with a calcium deficiency or a yeast infection. Licorice is a food craving, salt and also water deficiency. I do know that they do say people that do have issues with anorexia and bulimia, typically licorice is one of the things that they really crave. And so there could be some deficiencies there. Orange juice craving usually deals with an allergic reaction. And I know that this is odd, but if my husband eats brownies and then also eats orange juice, besides them not tasting good together, but if he eats them literally on the same day, he will kind of break out in a rash. And it's because of infections, and also there's some kind of an allergy there. So it's interesting to see how the balance of foods can impact you. Let's see, peanut butter, food cravings, and possible mold and mildew. And we've talked a little bit about how peanut allergies are really kind of bathed in a lot of pesticides, and that can really cause havoc on your system. PMS and cravings can be a decrease in progesterone. Pregnancy cravings can be a zinc deficiency. Smoking can be cravings to nicotine, which is a suppressed insulin levels. And then soda pop, dealing with phosphorus, calcium, magnesium imbalance. My son at his new school, they won some kind of a math quiz or something like that, and so they gave out pop. And he goes, "Mom, I really tried to drink it." I said, I only finished half a can in 5 hours. He said, "I just don't like the bubbles." So I'm kind of proud of him. Anyway, And lastly, sugar can be a corn allergy or a yeast infection. So I just thought that was really interesting that food allergies can come and stem from something. And so if you do have one of those cravings, it's good to go onto our Quantum Techniques website, request a session request, and find out what is going on and why you crave a certain food at a certain time, and so you can get your health and happiness back. All right, thanks for listening.